Good morning, good morning, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the show. I am your host, Leisha. Welcome to Keeping It Real with Leisha on this beautiful summer Saturday morning. We're enjoying this weather. So, hey, Tori. That's my first Facebook Live person there. So, I want to say good morning again, you guys, as we get settled in to go for our ride today. We have a ride today. My guest I have back in the studio today, Miss Lori Houston. We were having the conversation. We have deemed it the conversation. The Daddy, where are you? We're going to do part 2 today, Daddy Issues. And we have a whole bunch of issues that we will be discussing on today. But before we get started, as always, we want to thank God, first of all, that we're able to be here to do this and to minister to you today. And let me put my disclaimer out there. We will not be man bashing on today. We will be family building, because Lori and myself share a heart for healthy families. So that's what we're doing today. We're bringing these issues to the table because they're taboo. Nobody wants to talk about it. Just like domestic violence, nobody wants to talk about it. But we have been charged to bring this to the table. So we're putting together a workshop. We're going to put together a workshop so we can have you all come out and have this conversation with us. So first of all, I want to say welcome, Lori.
Thank you.
Welcome
Good to be here again.
Yes, we're going to have so much fun as always today. So I have my beautiful quote for today, you guys. And my quote says, let's see. Look, Leisha. Look, y'all, I'm vain, so I ain't going to put my glasses on, but I'm going to figure this out. Look, I just told y'all one of my things here. I did this quote last time when Lori was here, and it was so powerful. I feel that I'll do it again. My dad broke my heart. My dad broke my heart way before anyone else had the chance to do so. So that's my quote for this morning, but I have another one when we get finished with this. So with that, you guys, we want to talk about the daddy issues. A lot of issues that we face that comes from daddy's house has a tendency to break our hearts. So we want to talk about that. And we're going to give you some mending tips like forgiveness. That'll be one of the things. That's a big mending tip, and how to fix it. And one thing I want to give shout out to one of my sponsors, which is Tori, Safe Haven Child Care and Design. Let me show you guys what Tori hooked me up with. So you guys need any baby shower gifts made, you first ladies need your tiles made, Tori hooked me up with this right here. It says A Touch of Heaven Community Center. It's coming near in Compton very soon. I mean, I'm like that close to opening the doors. Thank you, Tori. Thank you, Safe Haven. You guys can find her on Facebook. So that's one of my sponsors for Keeping It Real. And I'm in need of a lot of sponsors, y'all. So if y'all want to sponsor the show, or you have a business that you need to have advertisement done for, or a special thing like Tori, hook me up with those. My little wipes, Sunday you want to be all cute and you dabbing. So I got my little wipes together, but see what I'm going to do is I'm going to put them in frames and put them in my office. So thanks, Tori. I love you. So if you guys want things made for your babies, you need dresses made for your girls, and this is stuff that she's prayed over, so you're not getting junk. Trust me, Tori's a prayer warrior. So hit her up on Facebook, and she'll hook you up. So with that said, welcome to the show again, Lori. And we're going to get started today. We're going to have some fire coming off of this thing today. And one of my best friends, Bishop Gaines. Hey, Bishop. We just talked about you this morning. We're going to have to rent that facility. You guys need a facility for a workshop, for any funerals, any weddings. You guys need to hit Bishop Gaines up, because he's very open-hearted and very, very easy on you when it comes to renting the facility. He takes care of me. Thank you, sir. God bless you. Love you dearly. And there's nothing you can do about it. Yes, you got that. So today, we're going to talk about daddy issues. Let's get started. We want to welcome our guests. I'm going to turn the camera, you guys, so you guys can see Lori. And then you'll hear me, but you'll see Lori. Or should we you go?
I'm actually live myself.
Okay.
So it's up to you.
Okay. So she's going live and I'm going live, and we'll just leave it that way, and then we'll mix the footage later. How about that?
Okay,
We'll do that. Let's get started. Welcome, Lori. Welcome.
Thank
We're
you.
talking about, this is part 2 for us, y'all, daddy issues. And believe it or not, a lot of us have daddy issues.
We do.
Regardless of whether daddy was as good as daddy can be, we still suffer from daddy issues. And I've learned one thing. When you suffer from earthly daddy issues, you suffer from heavenly father issues.
No, that's a good point.
Yeah, that's heavy.
Point.
So let's get started, Larry.
Well, good morning, everybody. I'm so excited to be here this morning.
Yes, I'm excited you're back. Yes.
And as I told you, I wanted to actually make an announcement that we're having our church, the Answer City Church, tomorrow. We're having a community impact where we're giving away 500 backpacks. And we want to say to Los Angeles and the surrounding areas that you come out. It's from tomorrow from 8:30 to 11 o'clock. The address is 7510 South Vermont, Los Angeles, California. The children must be present.
Okay.
The children must be present.
So give that address one more time.
7510 South Vermont. It's the Answer City Church, Pastor Andre Chappell. We're giving away 500 backpacks tomorrow for our children. We want our children to be equipped and armored when they go back to school.
Right.
So we're asking you to bring everybody out in the morning at 8:30, and the children must be present.
So it's from 8:30 to 11. Okay, yes. 8:30 to 11, you guys. On tomorrow, they have the free backpack giveaway on 75th and Vermont.
7510 South Vermont, Los Angeles, California.
There you go. You guys got the address, and I'll post it up on my Facebook. I really want to be out there. We'll be in service to 11:30 from 9 to 11:30.
We'll get there early.
Yeah, and get it.
Early.
Yes. Hey, how you doing, girl?
Okay.
So we put that out there, you guys, because we want to make sure that our children are well equipped for school. So I've already started praying for my children's teachers.
Okay.
Because I know my children, and I'm asking God to put men and women over my children that will accommodate the gift for my children, not bash or destroy what God is doing in my children. So that's important for parents. Please pray for your children. And you guys can find Bishop on Facebook. And wait, Bishop, you don't have my glasses on, Bishop. Stop putting stuff I can't see up there. So I'm going to put that info out there for you guys.
We're going to start the conversation.
Yes.
The last discussion that we had, Leisha, it really had a big impact.
Yes, it did.
My inbox was flooded. We had some callers that called in.
Yes.
We also had some comments on my Facebook.
Wow.
And I really wanted to, I promised a couple of men that I would address some of their concerns. Because one of them is that they actually felt that we didn't really explain how and why fathers are absent. Not just so much that they're not there, for the reasons that we gave before. So we will definitely address those issues today.
Yes.
But we want to talk about, of course, daddy issues.
Yes.
That's going to cover trust and self-esteem.
There you go.
Those are some of the areas that we as women suffer in.
Yes, we do.
But then what I also wanted to do is that we talked heavily about forgiveness.
Yes.
But we didn't really give any how-tos.
Okay.
You and I both were able to share our experiences, which was good. And we did share, and we had a likeness that we both wrote a letter.
Yes, most definitely.
So really what I want to talk about first is the reconciliation.
Yes, let's do
and
that.
How important it is for us to reconcile.
Yes.
And it's not always easy.
No.
But I do have some how-tos
Okay.
on how to restore the relationship.
Okay, y'all. Now, I'm taking notes because I take notes, and I'm going to post them on my Facebook, on my Keeping It Real page, not on my personal page. We only film on the personal page. So if you like Keeping It Real with Leisha on Facebook, you'll be able to see the reconciliation points and the forgiveness points. I'm going to also do that. So here we go, reconciliation.
Right, and I'm going to start blogging, so this is going to also be on my blog.
There you go, you guys.
I'm going to start doing that. So the how to restore the relationship. The first one is first you have to examine any pre-existing thoughts, concerns, or feelings about your dad.
Okay. There we go.
You have to examine it. How do you really feel? Be
Self-examination.
open and honest with self-examination. Okay. So that would be the first one. Number 2, know that it's never too late to have a connection with him, and that you need the connection. I think a lot of times, especially once we become adults, we feel like, well, I've gone this long without him.
Yes.
So I don't really need him.
Okay.
But it's really important that you understand that it's never too late.
Okay.
To have a connection with your father. Okay. 3, look at your dad using your own perspective and not what someone else told you.
Okay, wow, that's
important. Real powerful.
Yeah, because we'll take other people's opinions and we'll form our like or dislike for our parent or either people.
Right, either one. You know, and a lot of times, families get into bashing the dad.
Yes.
You know, he's this, he's that. So make sure that you're using your own perspective and not what someone else told you or what you heard your family members, your siblings, or even the community sometimes.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
If you have a public figure, dad, maybe the community has said this, that, or the other, but make sure you're using your own perspective.
Yes, that's
about
important.
who your dad is.
Okay.
Okay. Number 4, know that he is capable of change. Doesn't matter how bad it was, no matter how damaging it was, know that he is capable of change.
Okay.
Everyone is capable of change.
Okay.
Okay? So that's really important. 5, be honest, open. Share how you really feel. When you do get the opportunity to speak with him, whether it's on the phone, whether it's Skype, whether it's a letter, be open.
Okay.
Be honest. Share how you really feel as it relates to his absence.
Got it.
Okay? Number 6, if you're blaming yourself and you feel it's your fault. I find a lot of times, especially when I was real heavy with youth and young adult ministry, a lot of times they feel it's their fault.
Right, of course.
That he's not there.
Yes.
Or that their mother and father is not together.
That's true.
So if you're blaming yourself or you feel it's your fault, let go, forgive him, and then forgive yourself.
Okay, because that's heavy, because a lot of parents, when they go through divorce or whatever, just break up in the relationship, mom will pull you in and pour her feelings on you, or dad will pull you in and pour his feelings on you, and the poor
Whoever
child
the dominant
is
parent
just,
is.
yeah, and the poor child is left just numb because they don't know where to fit in.
Right.
And that's unfair to the child.
And all of this becomes unfair to the child.
Yes,
the child
you're right.
is the one that suffers.
You're right.
Yes. 7, look at ways you have accepted unhealthy relationships where you've tried to fill the void or the emptiness. And, this is as we get off into adulthood.
Oh, wow.
Okay. Dating unavailable men or relationships that are all wrong for you.
Oh, boy.
Okay. Being desperate, being needy.
Yeah.
A lot of times you're trying to fill a void. You're trying to fill an emptiness.
There you go.
You begin to have the children because you're trying to fill something that you're missing, an emptiness, a void.
Okay.
So we need to look at that.
Yes, be honest. So we need to be honest all the way around, even when it comes to us.
Right.
Okay.
Right. 8, expect resistance and then be very patient.
Okay.
Okay. So whatever attempts you make, just understand that you're going to have some resistance.
Yeah.
And you just have to be patient.
Yeah.
Wait it out. Wait the process out.
Ooh.
Your first attempt may not work because it's not going to happen overnight.
Okay.
You have to give it time.
Right. Because it took time for it to get in this position.
Yeah. And if you were like me, it was 28 years. So that's a long time.
Okay.
It's a long time.
Yeah.
9, once you've talked about your pain, the hurt, the disappointments, and the wounds as a result of his absence, don't bring it up again.
Right, because it's
Don't
done.
bring up the past.
Yeah.
We touched on that a little bit in our first discussion. Once you've gone through the process of these steps, whether it's one or all of them, make sure that when you are in the presence of your father, that you're not bringing up the past.
Right.
Remember what you did.
Yeah.
Remember this and all this.
That
Be willing to move on to building a healthy connection.
Okay, be willing to do that. Because what we do is we beat you with our pain, and that doesn't get you anywhere. All it does is it closes doors for your relationship with your father. It closes the doors so that daddy will shut down and go back into his cave, and you back at step 1 again.
Step 1. Yeah, because he's already feeling bad.
He's hurt. Yeah,
he's already feeling bad, hurt. The guilt, the shame of it and everything. So you have to make sure that once you go through this process, one or all, you may not even need to go through all of them. But once you go through the process, that you understand you're not bringing up the past.
That's right. Okay? So we're just giving you the tools that you might need to pick and choose from. You can fix them however you need them, but be able to have the tools in your toolbox to approach your father.
That's correct.
Yes.
Okay. The results of the reconciliation process, repairing, restoring, or reconnection with your father will allow you to identify with healthy relationships for your life.
Yes.
And that should be your ultimate goal.
Yes.
Whatever stage you are in life, whatever age you are,
Yes.
you really want your connections moving forward to be healthy.
Yes.
Okay. So that's what this whole process is about. Why the forgiveness is important. Why the reconciliation process is important.
That's right.
Because you want life to be healthy.
That's right.
And you want your connections to be healthy.
That's right. And you want to leave this portion of your life and leave it knowing that that chapter is closed and it's well. As well as it can be. Your will might not be my will. Your will might not be Lori's will, but your will is your will. Just like they say, my story is my story. So and what our goal is to build healthy families. And this is how you do that.
Right. Right. So those are just some steps that, you can go through to get you to that place. We talked about daddy issues. And I think women in one way or another, some more than others, have daddy issues.
Yes. Yes.
We hear the word daddy issues all the time.
All the time.
And sometimes we say it in a jokingly way.
Yeah.
But it's real. It's a real issue.
It is. And that issue affects us a lot in our lives, like you said, in our choosing of our husbands, in the way we treat our sons, and our daughters. Because if you had a bad daddy relationship, you pull your daughters in and you protect them, but you spit the venom of that relationship on your daughters. And you get to watch them bring out everything that you told them on the men that they date. Wow. Yeah, I've seen it.
It affects them.
It affects, yes.
Daughters growing up with a distant, absent, or unavailable father causes one to have a diminished sense of trust in men. And that is just so overwhelming when you really think about it. It's like we still move toward relationship, but do we really have the trust in the man that we're with?
And see, the thing is, too, being a now daddy's girl, I'll say, because my daddy, the Rolling Stone, is a mess. He's, like I told y'all, Papa is 80 years old. I'm going to turn it around. So you guys get to hear this story right here before we go any further. My dad is 80 and I love him dearly. Love you, Daddy, so I know you're probably listening. But Papa was a Rolling Stone. He's not now because he's 80 years old. So, but with him doing that and being that type of person, and Daddy swore me to secrecy a lot when he did his dirt, and it swore me to secrecy. So it put me in a place where where does my loyalty lie? It put me in a place of I was unbalanced. Okay. So with that, I felt like a car that needed a wheel alignment. I was always bouncing around in my thoughts, in my decisions, in my choices, because Daddy swore me to secrecies to his life. Right. And that hurt, even in my choosing of a husband. So with the first one, it was the safety. Okay. I needed the safety. I found the safety in him. I found the things that I was missing from Daddy. I found in the first one. So it made me make choices that I felt obligated to make. Wow. I didn't want to get married. I didn't want to be a wife to anyone, but I felt I had to. Okay. Because of that void of safety from Daddy in my life.
Right. Well, his role is to protect us.
Yeah, to protect and provide.
To protect and provide. Yeah. And so just in doing my research, Leisha, I find that even the young ladies that turn to prostitution.
Yes.
Even though they're having to sell their bodies, they're having to go through abuse, ultimately what they're looking for is protection.
That's it.
And this person,
yes,
I'm not going to even qualify that person as whatever it is.
Right.
But that person, to them, provides that's for them.
As twisted as it is.
As twisted as it is, yes. They feel protected.
They do. And then it's the with the protection, it's the love.
Right.
See, our thing.
What they can identify as love.
There you go.
What they can identify as love.
What does love look like to you?
Right.
Wow.
And even in my own personal thing, when I got married, I found out after I was married that I didn't even know what love was.
Right. Ooh.
And that there's a difference between loving somebody and being in love with somebody.
Yes.
Only to find out that I had never been in love with anybody.
Right. Right.
But when I say
that.
love that you can identify with, that's the love that they can identify with, because this person brings them in and says, this is what I will do for you.
Right.
if you do this.
Conditional.
Right. So it's conditional.
It's conditional.
It's conditional.
And see, we'll accept that conditional love to fill the void when we should not. You don't have to accept anything. And see, the one thing I that gets me is, if you do this for me, I'll do that for you. Right. So, but my love is not for sale. My love is not on an auction block. My love is unconditional. And a lot of us now that we've grown, we can love unconditionally because we've grown. Because we've allowed God to love us first. Mm-hmm. And see, that's the key too with this love and protection. If you allow God to love you first and you allow the protection of God to just cover you, then you can go through life and get to the next level, and he'll give you the husband or either the wife. We're not just talking, we could say the wife too, because a lot of, it's vice versa. So he'll give you the protection that you need in the place where he puts you.
Mm-hmm. Well, you know what? What's interesting is, and I've thought about this, is that it's easy for us to accept the love of God, whom we've never seen. And then we accept anything from those that we see and that we enter into relationships with. We allow them to do whatever.
Just run us over.
So daddy issues, when you talk about trust.
Yes.
Trust is something, of course, that's earned.
Yes.
But, what I'm looking into now, and this is definitely not a conversation that I want to enter into today, is that I don't know if I've made up a word, but it's that unhealthy trust.
Yes.
We trust.
Well, that's good.
We trust. But it's not always a healthy trust.
It's not. That's good.
I'm going to build on that, because it's an unhealthy trust that is developed as a result of what you missed. That is something I'm going to table that. I'm putting it out there. But unhealthy trust is something that we find ourselves a part of in most relationships, be it friendships, family relationships, or love relationships. It's an unhealthy trust.
It is.
And then it's self-esteem that is also one of our issues.
Yes.
That's connected to trying to fill that void. Your self-esteem is just not there. So trust and self-esteem becomes big in the daddy issue column.
Yes.
Damaged relationships with fathers, and depending on the severity, children, especially the girl, will grow into adulthood with low self-esteem.
Yes, most definitely.
And troubled relationships with men.
Yeah. And we try to hide it with the makeup. We try to hide it with the hair. We try to hide it with the bigger than boss attitude as women. But bottom line, there is no self-esteem there, because you did not have that male figure to feed that thing.
Right.
It takes your father to feed your self-esteem.
Yeah.
Your mother feeds your confidence. Your mother feeds she adorns you with her love. Your father feeds the trust and the confidence.
Yeah, the security and the protection is what we need from him. Okay, and then, so one of the things that, as I was saying earlier, that the guys were really big on is that the father is missing a lot of times because of the mother.
Yeah.
The mother. And I really want to build upon that. But I just want to share what makes daddy unavailable. One, divorce.
Yes.
Many fathers lose contact.
Yes.
Through the process of divorce.
Yeah.
They either let go or they're let go.
Yeah.
One way or the other.
Yes.
Another one is fear of being rejected.
Yes.
Guilt and shame.
Yeah.
Maybe it's something he did or something happened, that caused him to disappear, not be there. And so for him to try to find his way back, there's that fear, feeling that he's going to be rejected, guilt and shame.
And it's hard. It's hard once you, especially that guilt and shame put together. Guilt and shame builds up a wall that only God can tear down. Because of the guilt and shame, Papa puts on that "don't come near me" defense, so that we won't come near him to discuss what happened, what's going on, and where are you now. That wall keeps you away. Oh, that's my dad, I'm not going to do that, so it's only a front for the guilt and the shame.
Right. I was looking here, hey Michelle is saying most people don't even believe God loves them.
Oh, all right, Michelle.
And that's really true.
Yes,
that's really true. We're talking about daddy loving them, but most people don't even believe that God loves them.
Yeah, see, that goes
and
back.
that too goes back to what people have shown them as to who God is.
Yes.
A lot of people, we're the only Bible that they'll ever read.
You better say it.
And so if I'm your picture of who God is, and my picture is blurry and dirty and filthy, then they have no real picture of who God is.
That's right.
It's the same thing that happens to the dad.
That's right.
His name is tarnished, talked about and trashed.
Yes.
So that child, that's all that they see.
Yeah, they're confused. And then
so it's the same thing with God.
The child is confused. Actually, when we do that, women, our child becomes so confused. And 9 times out of 10, it turns around on you.
Yeah.
And it bites you in the tail feather.
Because of that.
Yeah.
The next one is some dads remarry and become preoccupied with their new life. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know why that is? That's the cover.
Yeah.
For what he did not do in the first relationship. But remember, dad is still hurting. That pain doesn't go away until forgiveness takes place.
Right.
So unless that forgiveness and that talk that we're having today takes place with daddy, then that pain is still there.
Right.
Yeah.
And then remarrying, that happened with my dad. He married another lady and took care of her daughter. And it was always, that was a part of my letter that I wrote to him. It was like, how can you take care of somebody else's daughter and you have children of your own? I don't know, something there is missing. Yeah. So I understand that side of it too, because he married another lady. She had a daughter. He took care of her. And when we had our talk, he said that, I said, you took care of her and you didn't take care of your own daughters. And he said she didn't have a dad.
Ooh. I
said, well, we didn't have one either.
So, but what that does is he blocks out the pain from yesterday, and I'll move forth from here, and I'll take care of. It makes it looks like they're taking care of that other family, but in reality, they're really not, because they can't hold their whole selves to that other family because they're still hurting from the connection to the past.
But what we saw is that you're there.
Yes, that's what
you're
we
at
see.
least there.
You're right.
You're in the house. We can't even get you
to
pick us up on the weekend.
Right.
Yeah.
And that hurts.
Yeah, it hurts.
That hurts.
It hurts. And then the other side of my experience was in a marriage. I was, he had children.
Yeah.
And so he never disconnected from his children, but he never connected with me.
It's one or the other.
So it's just,
it's one or the other. So we need to learn how to balance our lives. Get, like I said earlier, that analogy of a car with a bad wheel alignment. That's how we're rolling through life. And then that becomes our norm. And when that becomes the norm, all that shaking and rocking with that unaligned and unbalanced life, something's bound to be loosed. Something's bound to come. You're going to lose it one day. All the scruples and screws are going to fly out and you're going to lose it. So the point is, like Lori said earlier, we have to come back to ourselves. We have to reconcile with daddy. We have to do a serious self-examination. We have to do it like Michael Jackson say, look at the man in the mirror. Right. Check yourself.
And
write your notes down.
Whatever
I'm a note taker. I had to write stuff about myself and I go back to it and go, ooh, wait. Yeah. So we can be have on such an ugly front, and people are like, what's wrong with her? What it stems back to daddy, and that conditional, not unconditional, that conditional love.
Right, and that's true, Michelle. Michelle says it's easier for him to deal with the new family than to fight.
Of course.
For what he messed up.
Of course.
Yeah, it's always who wants to fight.
Yeah, it's the
let me deal with what seems to be the easiest.
And I call it the blanket effect. So what we're doing is we're covering it up and pushing that to the side. Hey, Vaughn, that's my cousin. We're pushing that to the side and we're covering it up like as if it never happened. Right. But remember, your past will always come back to haunt you unless you close the door completely, meaning with the reconciliation, meaning with the self-examination, meaning keeping it real in your own life.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. The next one, of course, lack of financial support.
Oh yeah.
I don't have enough money. It's not always money though.
No.
It's not always
it's your
money.
Presence.
It's you being there.
You. Yeah.
The child wants you. I don't ever recall asking my father for any money.
Okay. Yeah.
You say you want to come get us, come get us.
You could take me to the dollar store and give me some chips. I don't care. Yeah. Just me being with daddy is it. My dad is only giving me, as a kid, I'll say, not as an adult, because as an adult, I'm calling. So, but as a kid, my daddy only gave me $20. That's it. I'll never forget that $20 because that $20 to me meant the world because my dad gave it to me. And I'm telling y'all, I had to be in the 7th or 8th grade, so wait a minute, 5th, 6th. Yeah, I was about in the 7th grade when I got my first $20 from my dad.
Yeah. I don't know if he gave me, I don't know if I ever got any money from him. He may have. It's not something that was real important to me. But I think what is good to understand, man, is that the children just need you.
They just need you.
You know, just
however
go to the
you
park
are,
or just, you know, sit and watch a movie or whatever. Just to be with you is more important than anything.
And that
just
reminds
your presence.
Me, my little brother, Tone, I'm going to put you on blast. I'm sorry, I love you, though. My little brother, Tone, is when I say the best dad. He doesn't have a lot. He can't give a lot. But one thing my brother gives is himself to his children. Mm-hmm. Anything even because this past week he watched my kids. And he fusses and he fusses and he fusses. But when I say that man will put his life on the line for any children that are in his care, my brother puts his life on the line for his children. And whoever he's taking care of, his nieces and his nephews, they become his children at that time. And he gives unconditional love all the way across the board to the children. I can't give you $5. I can't give you $10, but I can give you me and my love. So and he fills in for my children for the daddy void because they don't have a daddy. He's their daddy uncle. So my brother will come and he'll love them. He'll take care of them. We spank in my house. So y'all can say what you want to say. He spanks or whatever he needs to do. My brother will be there to charge my children as a father should charge their children. Thanks, Tone. I love you, man. Yeah. So I had to put that out there. I ain't gonna cry.
Time is golden.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, we can't get that back.
Yeah, just your presence.
We can't.
And I think what keeps a lot. And I know our caller last time, James, he talked about there are no excuses, but these are just things that we're talking about as to why the daddy is available.
That's right.
Unavailable.
Unavailable. Yeah.
Yeah, unavailable. And a lot of times it is money. They feel like I don't have money. I can't give them anything. They want this. They want that. But the thing is, more important is just that you're there.
And we don't have money as moms.
Yeah.
But we're there.
We're there.
We're there. Yeah.
The next one is one of the major factors is the mother. Not encouraging the relationship or just speaking against the father. And this is probably where we'll end our discussion today because this was one of the areas that, my inbox was flooded with. A lot of times women, when the relationship doesn't work out, then you go off into revenge.
Oh, that revenge. Yes.
He did this to me. He cheated. He betrayed me. Whatever the case may be, the relationship didn't work.
Right.
And so now you go off into this thing where I'm going to get you back.
Yeah.
You're not going to see your children.
Yeah.
I've heard women say that.
Malicious mother
syndrome.
You
are not, and that's what malicious mother syndrome.
Yes.
Man, I mean, when I started looking into that, I was like, wow, this is really an issue.
It is. It's a mental issue.
The malicious mother syndrome is really an issue.
It is.
And what I've heard women say that he's not going to see his child.
Right.
But who are you hurting though?
That baby.
Who are you hurting?
That baby.
Yeah, and because the relationship didn't work out with you, has nothing to do with the child.
That's right. That's selfishness.
Or with him being the father of that child.
Selfishness, straight selfishness. And see, as mothers, we have to be careful not, and it can go both ways. It can be the malicious father and it can be the malicious mother.
It's both parents.
But it's both parents.
But we hear more about from the mother.
We do, because they want to label us women because that comes from the pain. That comes from disappointment. That comes from pain, and that comes from the need to have you. Yeah. Like you said, I could have you.
And before we go any further with that, let me just say what the malicious mother syndrome is.
Because I had to write that too.
This syndrome occurs when there is a separation, a divorce, or a breakup of the parents.
Yes.
Parents seek to punish the other parent, sometimes going as far enough to harm or deprive their children in order to make the other parent look bad.
Yeah, to make them pay
And the whole build-up with the malicious mother syndrome is to make the other parent look bad.
That's right. And it's to hurt you so bad that you see, if you wouldn't have done this to me, then I wouldn't do this to you. I even looked at it to the point where they even go as far as to hurt the child. We see that on the news. We just with that little 5-year-old.
Just a few comments here. Spirit says it's the bitter women.
Ooh, that's it.
Syndrome.
That's it.
That's it. That's an even better description of it. And then, of course, Charlotte says the child is damaged in the end. That's ultimately who's damaged.
That's it.
That's ultimately who's damaged. This most commonly called malicious mother syndrome, and I and I question why it is directed toward the mother.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when I started reading about this, why is it directed just toward the mother?
Right.
But then it also talks about that both mother and father can be capable of such actions. But it's just that we just see the women just acting out.
It's the pain. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so
because, you know,
often,
we have tantrums as women. Women have tantrums. Men have to be cool, so a lot of times they don't have tantrums. But I know one man that can't keep it together. They have tantrums. It don't matter who, what, where, or how. The tantrum comes out. And Paula Mack says that she agrees. Keep the kids out of it.
Keep them out.
Keep them out of it.
Yeah.
We have to keep the kids out. And then go back to my other point. Tori, you're correct. Tori has a son named Bruce. Bruce is daddy. Bruce is uncle. Bruce is big brother to all of their children. And shout out to you too, nephew, for doing that. We love you so. And God bless you on your ventures too. So, and he's in the service.
Okay,
so we had
great.
Thank you for your service, nephew. We love you so.
Yeah.
But,
I think you know, the men were concerned that this is going to be a male bashing, but I don't want the women to think that we're bashing, but we need to stop it. Though.
We do.
We need to stop it.
We do.
The thing is that if you've determined that this relationship is not going to work, he doesn't want you is really the bottom line.
Yes.
And gosh, we still have women that still have babies thinking that that's going to keep the man.
Please, no.
It's not going to happen.
No.
You know, you having a baby is not going to keep him there.
Yeah. If anything,
a lot of times it's going to push him away.
There you go. That's what I was going to say.
So we need to start. That has been going on since I can remember.
Before we were even born. Yeah. It's been there.
And women are still doing that.
Yeah.
You know, well, I'm going to have a baby. And so that's going to keep us together.
No.
And so when your reality is diffused, then it's like you go off into this thing where I got to make him look bad.
Yes.
And so you're talking down about the dad in the home. You're diminishing his credit, his ability to be a father. And so, yes, the malicious mother syndrome, or as Spirit says, the bitter woman syndrome. You're bitter.
You are.
Yeah.
And see, we have to confess that thing. And my big brother, Pastor Kyle Chapman, says, what about the man that step in to raise the other man's kid? You got a good point there, bro, because I had two amazing, when I say amazing stepfathers, we had two amazing stepfathers. The first one took us from birth to about 10, and the second one took us from 10 to his death. And these two men together created a safe place for us to be. Rent was paid, lights was on, gas was taken care of. My mother was treated like a princess by these two men, and they treated us like we were their children. They never made a difference with us. We went on family vacations. We got spankings. We got punishment. We got allowance. We had Friday meetings with my first stepfather. Every Friday, he would call everybody together at the table and say, how was your week? Tell me. And he let each of us, if we had to go on a rant, talking about we ate coffee cake for this, they didn't give us sausage, whatever the case may be, he let us talk about it. And then he went to my mom and said, how was their behavior for the week? And that depended on how much you got for your allowance for that week. But he put forth an effort, and he was there to raise us as long as him and my mom's marriage lasted. The second stepfather picked up right there and took it way far. He went even further than that. He taught us how to drive. He gave us his car. He covered up for our dirt that we did as teenagers, which he shouldn't have did, but he was one of the best. And so we commend, too, the fathers that really step in. And then that brings up another point, Lord. When you're a father stepping in to take care of another man's children, you don't have to broadcast it. Right. The children's life will show that you're that man.
Right. Let me just ask you a question, because you did reconcile with your father.
Yes,
right?
I did.
But even though you had stepfathers, there was still something in you that wanted that relationship with your dad.
Yeah. I wanted that connection.
It's just something about that biological tie between children and parents that you always want. As bad as my relationship was with my father, when I got older, I found myself trying to figure out if my mom and dad was really divorced. Okay. And if there was... it's like, what am I doing? I was like, you guys are not... They weren't divorced. Right. You guys are not divorced. So I'm trying to find them back to each other.
I understand.
You know,
yes.
It's something, I don't know what it is God did with that biological thing where you always want your parents to be together. I was just looking at some of the comments where they're saying that it's unbelievable that in 2017 that we still see women trying to hold on to men by having children.
And
by having a baby.
No.
And it's really amazing, but it's still a real factor.
Because that's something that we were trained and told as little girls that would hold the family together. And
I didn't get that memo.
I didn't get that either because I didn't want to be a mother. God blessed me to be. Thank you, God, that I am a mother now, but I didn't want to be. My cousin Yvonne says she didn't have a stepfather. She has a dad. And you know what? You're right. She has an amazing dad.
Right. And that's great.
He stepped in.
As long as you have, if dad is not there, to have a male presence is a blessing.
Okay, you speaking of a male presence, and let's go back to the beginning. What about the male presence that's there but does nothing? Yeah. That's like you might as well not be there.
Yeah.
That damages the family.
Yeah. Well,
too.
I brought that up last time where, one of the young ladies said, he was present.
Yeah.
But his presence wasn't there.
Yes.
So that happens too. And that's just as damaging as if him being unavailable or absent.
That's right.
Either way, it's still damaging.
It shows the kids that I can be here and you can see me not care. Mm-hmm. You can see.
That's worse.
Yeah, that's worse. You can see me not care. You can see me not contribute or help build the family. And what gets me is the mother who goes out of her way to please him and forget the children. Because with this malicious mother syndrome, or just on yesterday, I was in my favorite city, Compton, as I am every day. And I went to drop my daughter off at work. And I saw this young lady get out the car dressed kind of, I'm like, okay, she a little hoochie early this morning, but oh well. So come to find out, a man walked up to the car. She had 2 children in the car. She snatched the older baby out, which had to be about 2 years old. And the son she picked up and slammed him down into the stroller, where she hit his arm, and he just yelled. She didn't comfort him. She didn't console him. But as the guy walked up, she comforted and consoled the guy. He never once made eye contact with her children. He never once acknowledged them. He never once said hey, nor wave, nor nothing. Her attention and his attention was on them, and those children suffered because the baby cried. I sat there for about a good 30 minutes to watch and see if she was going to give him a bottle, a pacifier, or anything. She pushed that stroller to the side, and she got huggy on the park bench with this man, and they became one in front of her children.
So they'll live with that forever.
They'll live with that forever. And apparently he wasn't the father because there was no connection.
Well, it goes back to what I said. You will go to whatever lengths to fill the void
in you,
and the emptiness.
Yes. And once you become a parent, the selfishness has to go. The selfishness must die because of the simple fact that now if you have 2 children, you have 4 sets of eyes looking at you for instruction. Mm-hmm. You have those, they're listening. So they can hear everything. What to do.
The sponges, they observe. A good comment was here where we talked about the stepdad, and Spirit is saying here that because her stepfather was there, he was the dad for her, she felt that it was a form of betrayal to go back and reconcile with her father.
Oh, wow.
Because her stepdad had taught her everything.
Oh, wow.
And then she said it didn't dawn on her until she was grown that she could be loved by both.
Wow. That's good, Spirit. That's good. And we can be loved by both. You can be
loved by both. Yes. And so my point is to bring the awareness of what we need to do, and what's so powerful about you reconciling with your father is that, yes, you can be loved by both, and you can have that liberty that you need by reconciling with your father. Yes. I don't care if you never voice it. I don't care if you ever talk about it. There's something about you that want to have that relationship with your father.
That's right.
And your mother, if you don't have the relationship with your mother.
Yeah, because I know a lot of girls
nowadays,
that don't.
We have children that don't have relationships with their mothers.
Yes, I know children being a foster mom. I've ran across kids that were dad is there, but mom disappeared. Right. She had that baby. Mom was gone about her business, and that goes back to the selfishness. And one other thing that my bishop says too at our church is, even if your father's passed away, you can reconcile by writing dad a letter, going to the gravesite if you can, and letting it out. You have to let it out. Confession is powerful. Confession is so powerful. So we have to make sure that we confess what's going on. Because if it festers, then it starts to kill us in the form of high blood pressure it starts to take
Sickness,
over, and
disease,
sickness and illness. Because what's bothering you up here begins to eat at you here, and then it'll eventually kill you.
Right.
So we have to confess that thing. Let it out. Even if you have to get in your car screaming, holler. My car is my prayer closet. All y'all who know me know that's my prayer closet. I'm in that car letting them have it. People driving next to me might think I am just straight nuts, but God knows who I am. So you find you a place where you can just let this stuff out. Find you someone that you can trust, that you can talk to. Check their homework. Don't just pick anybody. Check their homework.
Right. Another name that's been given for, having a baby for a man to think you're going to keep him is, you're to trap him.
Ooh,
to trap him. Mm-hmm. And what would be the mindset of trapping a man?
Wow.
Yeah, that falls under something that you're missing.
Yeah.
If you got to trap him to keep him, then do you really have him?
No, you don't.
You don't have something that you have to trap or hold hostage.
Not at all.
Or have it over his head that, these are your kids, you need to be here. Mm-hmm. And some men get stuck like that.
They do. And then they end up living sorrowful lives.
Miserable.
Yes, that was Big Mama's word.
I'm with you. You're together because of the kids.
Yeah, and that's not what you want to do.
And as a woman, you don't want a man to stay with you out of obligation.
Oh, no.
You don't want a man to stay with you because of the kids. Right. Because he's not with you for you.
No, he's not there at all. Mind, body, and soul, he's not there.
He's not there.
He's not there. He's just sitting there, and he's not taking care of responsibility. He feels trapped. Right. And anything you trap long enough, you'll kill. Mm. You might not kill him physically, but mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, they die because they're trapped. They can't get out. They can't get air. They can't do what they love to do.
Yeah.
And you're just not what they love to do. Ladies, we have to accept the fact that some people just don't want to be with us. I'm so good with that. And they always give me that it's 7 women to every man. You know what? It's okay because I can do it over again. And you can too. Them numbers shouldn't stop you. It should not stop you at all. Okay, you had marriage number 1. I'm not promoting keep marrying until you get done. I'm not promoting that. But if you get to marriage number 2 and it's not working out, I'm not promoting divorce. I don't do that. But what I am saying is don't trap anyone into it. No. Don't trap them into marriage. Don't trap them into, and don't marry somebody for your own self-gain, because eventually what's going to happen is it's going to blow up in your face.
Wow. Yeah, to trap someone into anything is unhealthy.
That's detrimental.
Yeah, and it's not going to benefit you at all in the long run.
It's not at all. Be honest. That's what we're saying. Get in the mirror. Look at yourself in the mirror and say, why am I here? Why am I doing this? Is this person enabling me to continue my life? Is this person somebody I love? And not love. You mentioned love. Not love at. You can love at somebody. You can be in love with somebody. You can love somebody. You can love at somebody. Let me say one thing. Don't do me no favor and love at me. That's beneath my worth.
Right.
So, and a lot of women out there, it's beneath your worth. You don't have to settle for nothing.
But it's something about those 2 statements that we keep hearing. Don't settle. Mm-hmm. But you settle anyway.
Yep.
So the homework is not being done.
Thank you.
The homework is not being done.
Yes.
We hear, know your worth, know your value, and don't settle.
Right.
Yeah, so it's a common statement.
Yes.
But we're not doing the homework.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't even know what your worth is, then you don't know if it's even being addressed.
That's right. And that goes back to your first comment way back at the front. Self-examination. Before you get into a relationship, examine yourself.
Right.
How was me and Daddy together? What was our relationship like? You can love your father, but you really don't have to have nothing to do with him. If you love him and forgive him, for whatever the case may have been in your mother and your father's relationship, Daddy, I'm addressing these issues. I love you. I forgive you, and I bless you. And let him go.
Even if you need to ask them what happened.
What happened?
Why?
Yeah.
All of that.
Ask the hard questions.
Ask all the hard questions. Get it out.
Yeah.
And then you have to make a decision what you want things to be from that point on.
Right.
You just don't want it to be from a place of being bitter and angry and hurt and damaged.
Not at all.
Once you have this conversation, then you have to ask the question, now do I want a connection?
That's right.
Do I want us to have some type of interaction with one another? Maybe you don't.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of people that I have forgiven, but I don't want to have anything to do with them.
Me too.
You know, and they look at it like, oh, were you still walking? No, I just chose that it's not beneficial to me.
That's right.
To continue a connection with you.
That's right.
And I forgive you for whatever took place or whatever, but you are this someone that I don't want to continue a relationship with.
That's right.
Now, if you, like I did when we had the conversation, me and my father, I wanted a relationship with my father.
Oh, yeah.
But when I go back to what I said earlier, trust has to be something that, he has to earn it. Yes. He has to show me now that we've had this conversation that we're ready to connect and grow and build a healthy relationship. But it's work.
It's work. And relationships are work. It doesn't matter if it's mother, daughter, mother, son, whatever. Any
husband,
type of
wife, children, parents, co-workers, whatever.
It's work.
Yeah. Once there's been some damage, then you have to determine, okay, now, are we going to connect? Are we going to build a relationship? And are you willing to put in the work?
Yeah. So it takes a relationship assessment. You have to seriously do an assessment of the value of that relationship between your father and yourself. That's something that needs to take place, along with the honest conversation with the man in the mirror.
Right.
So yeah.
The U.S. Department of Census says that 43% of U.S. children live without their father. It says 50% of children living absent their father have never set foot in their father's home. Wow. That's amazing.
That's a void it's in itself.
Never step foot into their father's home.
Yeah.
50% of children. Okay? 40% of children in father absent homes have not seen their father at all during the past year.
Just absent, period.
Yeah.
All the way across the board.
And then 26% of absent fathers live in a different state than their children. Yeah. This was another issue that came up in my inbox from the last discussion, is that apparently a lot of people experience the fact that say, well, I can't see my children because they live in another state. Yeah, well, in this day and time, you got Skype, you got FaceTime, you got all kind of stuff that you can use. If you can't afford to maybe fly where they are, take a bus, a train, a car, there's so many ways that you can go see your children if they're not in the same state. So there's really absolutely no excuse.
No excuse at all.
You know.
The conversation has to take place, you guys. You're right, Tori. Tori is saying that she did get a chance to have that conversation with her dad and ask those hard questions. So, and 50%, Dr. B. So 50% of the children have the absent father and they've never stepped foot
in their father's
house. And you know what a void that would leave in your life?
Especially if the child knows where their father lives.
Yes. And then that too brings up another question. We as women need to stop lying. Oh, you know Bobo, your daddy. You know John Boy, your daddy. You know who the daddy is. And if you don't know who the daddy, be honest. Right. Tell your child, I don't know who your father is. And I'm sorry. Let's start from here. And let's repair this thing. Let's do as women, let's do the hard work and say, okay, it was 5. So let's cross off, let's check all 5 if we can.
Wow.
I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah, it is. But you just saying that, it's like, wow.
That's hard because you have to be real with your children. Me and my daughters had to have conversations that was just like, ugh. But I had those hard conversations with my children. There's nothing, I don't think y'all tell me if I'm telling the truth to you on there. It's nothing about me that my children don't know. I've had those hard conversations from when I was born all the way to the present with my children. Reason being is because I didn't want to close my eyes and have the same thing happen to me that happened to me when Big Mama died. People immediately came to us doing her repast. Hey, did you know that was your grandma? Hey, did you know your mama died when you was a little girl? I didn't want people coming and telling my baby stuff that they didn't know about me. I laid my whole life down. One of my daughters like, Mama, you was hoochie? Yes, baby, Mama was. Mama did that. And I laid it down so that no one can come to my babies after I'm gone or if I turn my back and hurt my children. I've let them know who I am. Here's my mistakes. Here's your daddy's. So, okay, go on about your business.
This is where we
are right now. Yeah. Take, mommy, when I say keeping it real, I keep it real in my life with my children.
And so it takes us back to what I talked about earlier is those things that happen as a result of what you missed.
Yes.
I mean, even that show, Maury Povich.
Yes. Oh.
It's hard for me to watch that sometimes when you've had multiple men to come on there and say, no, he's not the father. Oh. No, he's not. And you've heard that over and over again. That's
damaging.
Man, I mean, I can't even watch that.
Yeah, that's so damaging.
Because what is going on in that woman?
That's right.
That you've laid down with that many men.
And don't know.
And you still have not. I mean, there have been women that have left that show.
Yes.
Who have had several tests with several men.
Over 10.
And still have not found who the father
is.
That's
right. So where were you during that time? And see, that's when the real conversation comes in. That's when the self-examination comes in. Mm-hmm. That they were trying to fill a void in their lives. They went head first to fill that void that they were missing. And in that process of them trying to fill that void, life was made. Right. And those children, like we talked about time, I want to hit on that before we get off. Time, we can't get that back.
Can't get it back.
And one of the tricks of the enemy that gets me is, oh, you got time. You got time. You got time. That's a lie, people.
You never know how long you're here.
We never know. Me and Lori can walk out this door, Lord forbid, and time can end for us. We're not speaking that, no. But it's a possibility. You never know when your time ends. So make amends.
Now.
Confess. Reconcile. Do the self-examination first. Even before you get into a relationship of dating, do the self-examination. Know what you're dating for. Date with a purpose. Never do nothing without a purpose. When God created you and allowed you to come here, you came with purpose. Find the purpose. Find the purpose in all the relationships.
And to stress, more than anything, the awareness of all of this.
Yes.
We need to be aware. Yes. Act on it. Do something about it. And what we really want to capture here is that we cannot stress enough the importance of the Father's presence.
There it is.
And that's basically what I want to end on today. Yes. The Father's presence is so important. It is. There would be no reason for me to have myself around with various men, and that's really because you've missed the protection and the security and the voice of your dad.
That's it. Let's end with that.
The voice of your dad is missing.
Dad. Yes.
And so it has a lot to do with your behavior as a woman, especially if you're now into adulthood.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right. Daddy's voice is very important.
Daddy's voice is vital.
We're going to end it right there. Daddy's voice is critical. Daddy's voice is critical from utero to death. Daddy's voice is critical because we as men and women of God, we have to listen for the voice of God so that we'll know his voice. The word says that my sheep will know my voice and no other will they follow. So we have to be fathers. You set that tone for us. You allow us to hear your voice, and then we'll know the voice of our Father. We'll get the love. We'll feel the compassion. We'll fill the voids with our Father's voice, with our Father's presence. And like Dr. B just said, time is now. We have to move now to mend the fences. We have to move now to bring the family back together. Family is important. Family, God loves family. He created us to be his family. So family stands strong once we get all the rhetoric and the craziness out of our lives. We have to stand strong. No matter how your dynamic is, mom and dad can be divorced. Mom and dad could be in two different cities, but we can stand as a family. You can call dad on the phone and say, hey, talk to Junior. Mm-hmm. This is what we stand for. Because regardless of whether you're together or not, your mother and father, you're still a family for Junebug. You're still a family for Kathy. You still that child's family, regardless of whether you're together or not. So we're going to end with that. Daddy's voice is very powerful in the family. Daddy's voice sets the tone for your life.
For your life.
Daddy's voice sets balance in your life. Daddy's voice is vital. And with that, everybody, I want to say thank you to Lori.
Thank you.
This conversation is going to continue, y'all. Trust me, it has to. So we're working on that workshop. We'll get with Bishop Gaines for our facility. And we'll work it out, you guys. And so will you. We'll keep having that conversation. So we'll continue this conversation, Lori and I. Thank you for tuning in via Facebook Live, via live. I forgot what it's called. Just thank you for tuning in, everybody. Thank you for listening, and share this our Facebook Live, you guys, because somebody needs to hear this. We are all somebody's answer. Be somebody's answer today to bring healing to their family. I love you guys, and there's nothing you can do about it. Have a wonderful day.